All right, so good morning, everybody. Hopefully you all did the listen to the podcast like you were supposed to. So there is going to be a quiz on the podcast. It's only going to be 10 minutes long. So again, you were supposed to have listened to it beforehand. I know that some people were having difficulty. That's why I gave you to listen to it. And I gave you some possible solutions, listening to it on Spotify if you have a Spotify account. Listening to it on a phone, either your phone, maybe your parents' phone, whatever the phone is, a computer, any basically non-school device. But like I said, if you didn't reach out to me beforehand, again, that was kind of on you. So you should have let me know if you were having difficulties. But since nobody did, I'm assuming that either you did it or you ignored it. So again, unfortunately, it's one of those two. But I'm hoping it was the first one. Hopefully you actually listened to it. Before we take the quiz, though, I do have something that this is for tomorrow. There we go. All right, so I did send out something on Remind. I'll put it in the chat real quick. If you've already done it, you don't have to do it again. In fact, don't do it again. But again, if you haven't done it, you need to. This is just again for basically like information I'm gathering, essentially. All right, so there's a Google form. If you could please do that real quick, it'll just take a few minutes, and then I want to talk about the a little bit. A question or Daniel, did you have a question? No worries, just making sure. All right, so again, go ahead and fill out this Google form. Again, it's the one I sent on Remind. It's in the chat. If you're the student who just popped in, you can also look at your Remind though, and just do it there if you haven't yet. So I should see this number start to rise pretty quick. Make sure that you're logged in, Freddie, into your Singer USD account for that would be the only reason why it's not working. So you have to make sure that you're logged into your Singer Google account. And again, to the couple of people who showed up, again, the chat, but the Google form. So Brandon, to peer review a peer, what you would have to do is you go to the assignment, make sure that you're in the rough draft assignment from Tuesday's class meeting. And then once you do that, again, like you said, you have to be in the website. If you just scroll to the very bottom of the rough draft assignment, it'll be a little link saying peer to the two brief rights. All right, so I've got about 4 people who, if everybody can make sure that you are participating. Again, this will be tied to attendance. So if you have camera on, this is a way to fix your attendance to make sure that you're having a hard time finding it. I'll try and help you if I can. and FYI, I'm giving extra credit to whoever does this Google form. So easy points. I don't know. I'm seeing that number start to climb. Do some filler music while you guys are filling this out. All right. So now that I've seen we have some more responses, and if you're still taking it, by all means, keep going. I'm just kind of curious about our responses. So now, let me just be clear about what this class would be if we were to do this class. Again, this would, as of right now, I don't know if it's going to be because I already started registering for. Have to talk to people and they like reach out. But the idea is that this class would hopefully count as an art elective. So if for your A through G requirements, it technically could count for an art. That's the plan right now. What it's going to look like for this podcasting class is basically in my classroom. I have an office. If you've ever, I don't know if you've ever been to my classroom, maybe you did for your book or something last year, but basically in my classroom, I have one office, technically two offices, and I'm trying to seal the second office, but I'm actually going to convert at least one of them recordings. I'm going to do like the foam pads on the wall. I'm going to like new microphones and a computer for that room, and like just try to create an actual like recording studio. So what it would look like is basically you would all create your own podcasts, and you would be able to work with the people. I would say probably no more than 2 people, just because of like equipment limitations. But you would basically you would pick a topic. It could be video games, could be sports, could be really any topic, and you would create your own series. And in that series, I would basically try and teach you some of the like, not just the recording basics and some of that stuff, but just like how to make the recordings, how to make actual content better, how to like reach a bigger audience and stuff like that. So that's kind of what it would look like. So it definitely would be a lot more freeform, because it would basically be trying to create almost like not just your podcast, but create like almost like a little mini. So that's what the idea of it is. It's definitely a newer idea, and it's one that we've never done on campus. But again, I'm just trying to create a new alternative for students to do who don't want to do like, art or ceramics or whatever. I'm just trying to give students another avenue that they might possibly be interested in. So if you have any more questions about it, you can put it in the chat. Like I said, I do have some pretty good feedback from what I'm seeing here as far as like why people would or wouldn't want to do it. So, like I said, and I appreciate your honesty. If you're not interested, that's not a bad thing. Obviously, like not every class, not everybody going to take full. Everybody's going to be like part of FFA. So again, not this class isn't for everybody, but if it is, like I said, let me know, and it's something that I'm trying to get going. So, anyways, thank you for participating. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so now we are going to do the podcast quiz. So for the podcast quiz, again, it was on episode 11, Convince Me Otherwise, where I talked about rhetorical strategies, a little bit of genre talk. So it's just multiple choice. So there's like 4 multiple choice questions, and then just you need to upload. Again, I'm going to say that you need to have the check mark next to the podcast where it says, I don't want you just to move the time over. So again, you need to listen to the whole podcast. So I'll give you, since there were some issues, I'll probably give you 15 minutes if you want to get because again, there is a 10-minute time. You can't listen to the whole podcast while you're taking it, but maybe 5 hours. So I'm going to give you 15 minutes to take the quiz. So that means at about 8:32, we are going to be ready to move on to the next thing. So go ahead and work on it. Does anybody have any questions while you are doing that? Again, it could be a question about the quiz. It could be a question about the podcast class. All right, well, again, 15 minutes to work on your podcast or on the quiz for the podcast. So go ahead. Again, if you're in the class, it'd be a lot easier if you just send me and not, I'm not always looking at the remind. And once again, I've sent many reminds on this. So like Miguel, I know you just sent this to me, but again, I sent you many reminds saying that I'm aware that it's not working 100% on the iPad. So again, what you're supposed to do if you, again, supposed to listen to it, like I said, either on a phone, which you can listen to podcasts on phones, or on a computer if you have one. But again, you need to find another device. You could try playing it through the Anchor app. Last semester we will be recording some more this semester as well. So again, make sure that you could try looking for the 1101 app or the 1101 podcast, the Anchor app, and see if that works. But like I said, it will work on phones. Like if you have a Spotify account, you could totally use that. But again, you had almost a week to listen to this. And again, I did give you the solution on the alternative. So again, you should not be waiting to the last minute to listen to it. All right, let's see where we are at. Okay, you should be starting the quiz now. Again, it's been 5 minutes. So if you have not started the quiz, you need to be starting it. And again, if you have questions, just put them in the Zoom chat. So Pedro, again, you need to be starting. Okay, Sierra, thank you. I see you're done. Good job. Freddie, I see you're taking it. Excellent. Kathleen, good. Brian, you need to be taking it. So again, please start the quiz. Ryan, did you have a question? Again, you could just put it in the chat if you do. If not, you could lower your hand. Okay, well, Ryan, I haven't got to you yet. I said Brian, not Ryan. Okay, so Aaron G, I see you're done. And Frank, I see you're working on it. Thank you. Julius, you need to be starting it. Roel, you need to be starting. Okay, Miguel and Fernando, I see that you're taking it. Armando, you're taking it. Excellent. Thank you. Daniel and Josh, thank you. Camilla, Aaron, and Matthew, thank you for starting it. I appreciate it. Matthew and Alexander, you both only have a few minutes left, so make sure you're getting it wrapped up. Ryan, I see you took it. Thank you for taking it. It's not here. Ricardo, thank you for taking the quiz. Mia T, I see you're taking it. Thank you. Isaac, you need to be taking the quiz as well, so please go ahead and get started on that. Pedro, again, if you can go ahead and get started on the quiz, please. Brian, you still need to start as well. So, Brian, Pedro, go ahead and get started. Let's see. Julius, you need to go ahead and get started. Well. We're at, so I'm seeing a lot of people who are finishing up. Again, it was a very short quiz, as you saw. It was a short podcast. Figured it would be a short quiz to kind of go along with that. Okay, let's try and wrap up in the next 5 minutes. Again, I know some of you are just a little bit late, but we do need to make sure that we're getting moving on after this. Alrighty. So I still see a couple of you are taking it. I saw a couple of you unfortunately timed out, so you just turned the quiz on and walked away for some of you, unfortunately. So far from what I'm seeing from the results, they're okay. It looks like there's going to be lots of B's, which isn't, the worst thing in the world. Couple A's, so that's good. Always want to make sure we're getting some of those A's, but like I said, I'm trying to give you more time to side class. So like I said, you've had most of last week. Antoine, we just finished taking the podcast quiz. So again, we are going to be doing. You had to work on your brief write. Then you also had Tuesday to work on your rough draft brief write. So you've had lots of time in class to work on your writing. So again, that's why I do the podcast, so that we could spend more time doing like the writing kind of stuff inside class. But I do need you guys to be listening to the podcast. So again, I understand that we had some technical difficulties, and I'm going to be following up on the email with the tech office today. So hopefully we will get that resolved. But yeah, we got to make sure that we are that we are listening to the podcast before the quiz. So for example, again, I will be releasing another podcast tomorrow for you to listen to. Again, if for some reason that the tech office is not able to get it resolved, again, you can listen to it, like I said, on Spotify. You can listen to it on a phone or a computer or some other form of device out of the school devices. But like I said, I'm going to try and get it fixed hopefully today or tomorrow, so that way you can still listen to it on your iPad. Anybody or concerns about listening to the podcast? Again, please respond if you do. Okay, here's what I need from everybody, because I'm not getting that many responses, like one or two. In the chat, what I want you to do is tell me what your concern is or comment about it, or something that you would like me to include in the podcast for you. So everybody needs to type something in the chat though. So if it's a suggestion or a concern they have about listening to them. And you can be honest, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I might cry later, but not now. Not in front of. Okay. I can't think of anything isn't like a suggestion or a concern. So again, take a minute to think and then type something out. Yeah. So like I said, you can use your phone for right now, Miguel. So yeah, definitely. Again, it's only a 30-second thing, the like sponsoring part. So again, I am gonna just leave that part. But again, that's just a small part of it. Thank you, Aaron. Again, I'm not talking about the podcasting class. I'm talking about the podcast you have to listen for my class. So I'm looking for anything. Well, as far as the 30 minutes, I agree, Antoine, was probably a little longer than I think 20 is like the max that I would like to normally keep it at. 20 minutes isn't a super long podcast. I mean, if you think about it, like if you listen to because I usually give you about 4 days, if you listen to 5 minutes each day, you would be done. So Aaron, the question is, again, do you have any comments, concerns, or suggestions? Again, so if you guys think about it, think about like your classes where your teacher talks to you, and a lot of times they will talk to you for like 20, 30 minutes. The only difference is that I'm letting you do that on your own time, so that way you can do more of the like homework inside class. So again, I do have to be able to talk to you, because here's the problem. If I say I'm going to talk to you during class and you have to do homework outside of class, then I have no control over that. But again, if you divide up how often you listen to it, I don't listen to a podcast in a single sitting most of the time. A lot of times when I'm listening to podcasts, because I listen to podcasts that are like, they could be an hour to 2 hours long. I don't listen to it in one sitting. I'll listen to like 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here. So again, you could do the same thing. Listen to 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So again, if you just divide up your time, like when you're doing stuff, or again, like I keep saying, the idea of podcasting is that you multitask. You can play video games and podcast. You can exercise and listen to a podcast. You can do chores and listen to a podcast. You can draw. You can do a lot of things to the podcast. So again, there's really, I'm trying to cut down on the time. So I'm trying to make it to where you can multitask, because I know some of you have very busy lifestyles at home stuff. So I'm trying to allow you to be able to do both, to be able to like maintain your lifestyle at home while still listening to it. So, I mean, again, like I said, I think that being able to like play video games and listen to a podcast, to me, seems like a much more enjoyable experience than writing outside of the class, right? Does that seem like a positive thing, or would you all prefer writing outside of class or listening outside of class? Let me ask you that, in all honesty. Would you prefer to do writing or listening? That's basically the option I'm giving you. You can either listen to my podcast and write inside class, or you can listen to me talk to you inside the classroom and you can write outside of class. I know that most of you most of you are saying listen, but here's the deal. In order for that to continue, I need you guys to do a better job listening to it before class. Okay. So if you want to continue to have less writing outside of class, I need you guys to do a better job with a podcast. Yes, sometimes they will be around 20 minutes. And my 30-minute episode was because I had a ton of listener questions from you about writing, and a lot of them were different questions. So I wanted to make sure. Next time, maybe I'll split it up into 2 separate episodes rather than one long episode, like maybe 2 15-minute episodes. But that's just, again, a learning experience for me. But I'll try to keep them like no longer than 20 minutes. But like I said, 20 minutes is nothing. 20 minutes is like a drive somewhere, right? You can listen to it while you drive somewhere. You can listen to it while you play one video game, like one session. You can listen to it, probably be done. You're done playing video games. So again, I just need you guys to do a little bit more when it comes to that. Okay. Sound fair? Yes, no, sound fair? Okay. So moving on. Thank you for, again, talking to me about the class. I appreciate it. I just wanted to kind of get like some ideas. I do think it could be a really fun class. Just think about if you got you and like a friend of yours to join the podcast class, you would basically be having an excuse to talk about your hobbies, essentially stuff that you're interested in. So again, I think it could be a very fun experience if you guys go into the mentality. And that would be, to me, honestly, my biggest suggestion is get you and at least 1 or 2 other friends to join. So that way you have people to talk to, because, you know, it's always easier to talk to people that you know and are friends with, because you'll have better chemistry. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. So again, you should have finished the rough draft on Tuesday. I know some of you finished it yesterday. I saw that some more of you got that turned in, so thank you. So based off of the notes from your peers, write a final draft version of your paper. If you did not get good comments from your peers, which some of you will get good comments, some of you will not, unfortunately. I understand that sometimes, you know, maybe people are rushing and not giving the best comments, or maybe they struggle with writing, so they're not necessarily going to give you the best insights. Much gave feedback at least on 1 or 2 pieces of writing last semester for your brief writes, especially. I gave you all feedback. I didn't really give that much feedback on the essays because it was the end of the semester. But if you look back at some of the brief writes that you did, I did leave you some feedback. So if you click on those old brief write assignments, you should be able to see like some of the like I left some video comments on the first one. So again, you can listen to that or read that, any of the feedback I left you, because if you were making a mistake in an old brief write, there might be a chance that you're still making that same mistake. So just make sure that you're not making the same mistake twice. Obviously, that's the ultimate goal. The final draft will need to be done today. Again, it should already should be done, just be making tweaks now, right? You shouldn't be having to rewrite the entire thing. So it shouldn't be like something that's going to take you hours to do. It should be something that's like, oh, I could probably make that change. Oh, this isn't that clear. I'm going to make a tweak there. So this is the rubric for the final draft. So on the rough draft, again, this is pretty similar to the rough draft. The first two are the exact same, submitted brief write and quality of brief write. The only difference is on the third box for the rough draft, you had to revise somebody else's paper to get the full amount of points for the rough draft. If you didn't, obviously you're going to be missing out on some points, but basically you're going to have, you get 20 points just for submitting the brief write, the final draft. So you get basically almost half the credit just by turning that in. So that's a good thing. Then you get 20 points for doing an amazing job, 15 points for doing a good job, and then 0 points if it's just like not even what we're supposed to be writing about. So basically there's a good chance you'll get 20 or 15 points on this as long as you're following the prompt. So that's, again, good. That's most of your points right there. So that's 35 points or 40 points, which 35 is like an automatic C. And that's even if you didn't do any revision. And revising is so easy that, again, there's no reason why we shouldn't be revising it. But here is, again, what I want everybody to be shooting for is the 20 points amazing. So develops adequate supporting points, ideas, reasons, details, and or evidence from student notes. So basically, do you have good evidence? Well, you should already have that because we had the evidence from the Padlet. So as long as you are using the Padlet to find 2 quotes, you should be good. Does more than list supporting details or ideas, adequately elaborates ideas and reasons using precise words and language. Like I said, the example of scare tactics because he's making him afraid of Caesar's power. Great. And persuading him. So again, you did. Now you need to finish that idea. So for your explanations, you need to tell me what example, why it's a good example of the rhetorical strategy you said it was. So if you said scare tactics, definitely tell me what he's afraid of. That's good. But you also have to go further and then tell me again, what is it that, like, why was him being afraid of Caesar's power? Why did Cassius know that that would be effective in convincing Brutus to join the conspiracy? Again, you could talk about how Brutus wants Rome to remain a republic. He's afraid that, there will be too much power, and maybe he's afraid of losing his own power too to Caesar. Maybe he's afraid that he's not going to have as much power or as much say so in what happens in Rome because all the power is going to one person. So that's what I want you guys to do in your explanations. Let me go back again. This is from the other day. Again, this was the outline for you, the checklist to make sure that you had everything. So again, make sure that you have all these components in your brief write. And if you did everything and you did the explanations the way I just explained right now, you should be good. And remember, a transition is nothing more than saying, this is what I just talked about. This is what I'm about to talk about and why, and like related or connected. So in addition to tactics, Brutus also was convinced by Cassius used patriotism to convince Brutus to join the conspiracy. Or while scare tactics was effective, patriotism was slightly more effective in convincing Brutus to join the conspiracy. That's all a transition is. It's not this like really super complicated idea. It's basically just giving your reader a roadmap to where you were and where you're going. How did I get from point A to point B? Okay. And then your homework is going to be, and again, I'll go back to this later, but it's to listen to a podcast that I'm going to drop tomorrow. I will keep you updated on my feud with the tech department. So fun times. But anyway, so you'll need to listen to it by Tuesday. Again, we have no school on Monday. So you won't have any Monday. So I will see you on Tuesday. So just make sure that the podcast listened to, not on Tuesday, but before Tuesday. All right. Any questions for me about the brief write? Okay, I will wait for the chat again. Obviously, if you're not done with a rough draft, I want you to turn in a rough draft first, and then I want you to turn in a revised draft. 30 points for the rough, points for the final draft. Okay, well, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put you